Hello and welcome to another edition of Trotsky or Bust. Today is Monday, September 25th. It's one day after yesterday, Sunday, the whole country fell for Donald Trump's great distraction, and that's when, we talked about Colin Kaepernick. I really don't want to talk too much about that today. I'd rather talk about Barney Frank, and he had, in a roundabout way, he came up with a really good idea, even though he's a corrupt piece of turd. But first, let's talk about Kaepernick. Or the NFL's players taking a knee. They all took a knee because Trump called them SOB, sons of bitches, and they all were offended. And no one's talking about the real issue, which is social injustice, how black people are arrested, how those players, most of them are young black men. They're heroes Sunday afternoon. We all cheer for them. And Sunday night, they're thugs. And unfortunately, that's how our society sees them. And that issue's been distracted. And Donald Trump's useless, pointless presidency is so far being distracted. He managed to, deflect away from everything. I just want to say how I don't know. When I see those owners locking arms with the players, think about this now. Donald Trump said, I'm paraphrasing, that players who take a knee, the owner should just say, "You're fired." And so everyone was outraged by that. But think about it. What have the owners done to Colin Kaepernick? Exactly that. I mean, they didn't fire them, they just didn't hire him, which is the same thing. Right? So all those hypocrites locking arms, pretending that they're outraged by Donald Trump, they're united. Yet Colin Kaepernick does not have a job. And that's because the owners want to make a point. And what is their point is that everything is from Petros. The only thing owners care about is money. All right? I spoke about this earlier. They don't care about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. They just worry that one of their biggest sponsors is the U.S. military. And the U.S. military, one of the best places to recruit is right there with young men watching football games or basketball games or baseball games who know they're never going to play in the NFL. But they can join that other team. The real hero is the military. So it's a great place for them to recruit. Colin Kaepernick inadvertently took a shot at those sponsors. Okay, he wasn't trying to do that. He was just trying to bring attention to the plight of African Americans, young black men like himself, who are mistreated or too often not given equal rights under the law. But the fact that the military advertises there, and that's going to hurt their recruiting because he's basically telling them, hey, I'm not willing to take a stand for this flag or anthem, let alone die for it. So now that's why they're not hiring. So when Donald Trump said, you're fired, the NFL owners are doing just that by not rehiring Colin Kaepernick. So they're just hypocrites for standing there, arm in arm with their players. Bullshit. Okay? I'm pissed at it, but what are you going to do? I mean, money talks. Those who have the golden rule, those who have the gold make the rules, and that's their rules, their hypocrisy. What I really did want to talk about today is this Friday, corrupt corporate Democrat Barney Frank, a corporate piece of turd, if ever there was one, was on the Bill Maher show. Bill Maher is just a sellout, corporate-owned liberal who tries to pretend that he represents working people. He does not. Okay, please, Bill, stop. He's not going to stop because he's making millions of dollars. Anyhow, we had Barney Frank, and Barney Frank committed a gaffe. A gaffe in politics is when you inadvertently tell the truth. And his gaffe was that, hey, we should lower Medicare from 65 to 55. Why? Because that would save the insurance companies a lot of money. Of course, Barney Frank, that's how he thinks. He pretends not to be in favor of them, but he is. I mean, Wall Street gives him millions of dollars to make speeches. He was once on Bill Maher. He said, oh, it's because I'm so interesting. Please. they were giving him money. They were contributing to him when he was in Congress. And that's because they wanted to dilute a lot of the banking regulations, which Barney Frank helped do. I have an article. I'm not good with computers, as I imagine you can tell. I got to work on this. But in the comments section, I put a link to an article, a really good article. And it tells you how corrupt Barney Frank is and a lot of the Democrats, who many of them represent working areas, but they're totally corrupt. But getting back to this, getting the health care down to 55 would be certainly not, doesn't take us there. And we shouldn't wait for a Democrat. This could be done right now. I mean, Trump, if he wants an accomplishment, this is it. This not only helps people, older people, I am over 55. This is not about self-interest, though. People over 55 will be able to buy or get Medicare, and which obviously helps them. It's also going to help it's going to help the health insurance companies because it's going to take a lot of their older, sicker, more expensive customers off their ledgers. Okay, now Medicare is going to have to handle that, and that's going to mean more money, or hopefully that'll get passed on. I doubt it will under the Republicans, but if proper legislation is passed, you can do that. But the most important thing here is this. It's going to be hard to get from 65 Medicare for people over 65 to Medicare for all. I know it may take a few, it may be done intermittently. Maybe we can get this. If we can get it down to 55, remember, the younger you get, the easier this becomes because the younger people are not as expensive. It's not going to cost the government as much to insure them under Medicare as it is the older people. Okay, the older people are the expensive ones. This is a halfway measure, and Barney Frank, as corrupt as he is, did come up with a good idea, and hopefully this will be implemented. I hope it's done now, and once hopefully a real Democrat or hopefully a Green or a Bernie Sanders can take it from 55. If not all the way, then maybe take it from 55 to 45, and then lighten the load for the next person, the next real president who will actually work for us, unlike Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. All right, please read the article underneath in the comments section about how corrupt these politicians are. I am so sick of Bill Maher. I'd rather watch Fox News. At least they admit they're on the other side. Watching Bill Maher is actually more nauseating than watching Fox News. All right, I guess that's it. September 26th, enjoy the football. If you're at the stands, if you go to a game, take a seat. You don't have to stand during the national anthem. If the fans start sitting, that's when this will really take off. But more importantly, remember, there's a much more important social issue here than football players taking a knee. There's inequality, and that's un-American. Okay, so when you see those people on the right waving the flag, inequality, disrespecting the Constitution is un-American. All right, take care. Trotsky out.